Welcome everybody that's watching to Out of Focus. This is going to be a conversation between myself and Henca here.
Hi.
Hi Henca. Just for a little bit of info, my name's Ffion. I am the founder and the development officer for Ladies of Rage Cardiff, which is a scheme to platform women performing in mobile and electronic genres. Yes, and Henka, I've been reading loads about you, and you've got a really, really impressive and lengthy career, it seems, in the same sort of genres. Do you want to give the people that are listening a little bit of an overview as to what it is that you do?
Yeah, so the main thing that I do is I try to get people to become the best version of themselves in general.
Yeah.
Obviously, we focus on arts and culture and specialize in urban music. So this means that we develop different projects to make sure that people develop their skills, whether it's production, whether it's songwriting, whether it's singing or performing, anything that has to do with the betterment of their art form, their crafts. And then we also try to encourage young people that are in college to become, better in entertainment for behind the scenes with internships and master classes that we do at the schools that they go to.
Amazing.
So we're trying to educate the people behind the scenes, the up and comers, the young folks, as well as the creatives.
That's brilliant. So building the industry as well as the performers as such, like
yes, because I think a lot of the focus is always on the creatives, but if it wasn't for the people behind the scenes, a lot of these creatives couldn't develop, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely agree.
Yeah, and so we decided that we want to do both because we obviously, we started this because it's me and my partner Greg. We started this more than 20 years ago when we were still super young ourselves, but we're getting older, and so we also want to prepare the next generation to take over, the ones that have energy to go 3 days in a row without sleeping and don't crash afterwards, type of thing. So that's what we're trying to do.
That's brilliant. That's amazing. I'm going to take it right back to the start for a little bit briefly, just to find out kind of how you got into doing what it is that you do. And also kind of a little bit more about being a woman working in these genres, which, as we know, can be quite male dominated.
Very.
So take me right back to the start for a little bit and tell me, how is it that you got into working in urban music, or how you became, because you were a DJ, weren't you, for a long while? And
yeah, so radio DJ, meaning I was hosting different radio shows, so I can't DJ actually, like the actual DJs that DJ a party.
I'm the same.
But I was the talking head during the music type of thing. So it actually started, I went to school and did a master's in communication science. I actually was an athlete all the way up to college. I played tennis on a semi-professional level, was trying to become a professional, so I wasn't into music at all. Like people asked me, I remember I went to college and somebody was like, do you know R. Kelly? And I was like, is that a group? Is that what's that? what's an R. Kelly? So I was 18 at that point. So I was super focused on being an athlete. I was super focused on, making it to the top. And then, I decided that I was 18. I wanted to do something else. And I went to college. And so coming out of college, I went to college in the US for a year. I won a scholarship. And I got to go for free because we were broke, so I wasn't going to be able to afford it. And I ended up winning that scholarship by writing an essay about Nelson Mandela, and that got me to the US. And for some reason, every time I will go back to the US on vacations or on trips, I would meet people in the music industry. But also here in the Netherlands, for some reason, I just kept running into people in the music industry, and they kept asking me, am I in the industry? And I would be like, in the industry? What does that mean? Like, what is the industry? And people were like, this is the music industry and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not in that. Why do you think so? And they always say, well, my personality matched the energy of other people in the music industry for some reason. And I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know what that means, but I guess that's a good thing, because you're approaching me like it's a positive thing. So I think it's a positive thing. But all roads led to the music industry. It was just very strange. It wasn't my plan. It wasn't anything I intended to do. And a lot of people around me had a lot of talent. And so me and my partner at the time, we decided that instead of complaining that there was no actual opportunities for urban music in the Netherlands, we were going to do something about it. Because, there's always situations that don't go the way you want them to go. And I'm just the type of person that I'm not going to sit there and bitch and complain. I'm going to try to make a difference and change it. And so that's what we did. We just started a concept called Talent Night, which was like a little brother to Amateur Night at the Apollo, which is a talent show that anybody can compete at. And the audience decides who they like and who they don't like. And so we didn't have the clown, because in the US, they have the clown that kind of brushes you off the stage. We skipped the clown because I knew that wasn't going to work in Europe. It was just not, and it was just not a positive thing to me, because we were trying to build people up. And to me, the clown kind of, tears people down. So I was like, that doesn't fit with what we're trying to do. So we started with that concept, and that concept drew so many talented people. And still to this day, a lot of the people relevant in the music industry, in the urban music here in the Netherlands, came from that concept.
That's brilliant.
So, yeah. So, and it was the first urban or black type of production in theaters in the Netherlands. So really we were groundbreaking in this. Yeah, we were groundbreaking in that sense, but it was necessary. There was so much talent, and there was no places to perform at, no respectable, festivals that were programming it yet. So we were like, okay, well, if we want to change that, we have to showcase it in a way where it's, traditional places where arts and culture people with the capital A and the capital C recognize that it's also art.
Yes.
And so that's where our fight started, to getting urban music recognized as an art form in the Netherlands. And finally, I think after 22 years, the government here also realizes that it is an actual art form, and it is a professional, arts and culture craft, and they're starting to take it more serious.
That's really brilliant. Yeah, no, it's an issue. It's quite a pervasive issue I've seen in reading about urban music and the way it's accepted kind of globally. It's often people see it with a lack of, they don't give it the credibility that it deserves. Exactly. They don't give it that weight of culture that it deserves. And so I understand exactly what you mean by the capital A and the capital C, and kind of bringing it into that sort of into that arena. And just to kind of stay in the on kind of how you got into it and everything, you say that you weren't into music and it wasn't kind of your thing. What was it about urban music specifically that kind of attracted you?
Yeah, I think I grew up on it, because obviously my parents at home played music, and it was the Motown music, it was the Lionel Richies, it was the Diana Rosses. That's what I grew up on. So I guess the music that did get to me was really black music. Music of black origin. And so I went to school in the US, like I said, and over there it was like automatic, you're black, so this is what you're listening to. So when I would go to my friends' houses or whatever, they were like, yo, this is what it's about. When you would go to the party, that's what you would hear. So and I don't know, it just touches my soul. I just get happy listening to urban music, but I get happy listening to music in general, because I guess while going to school and interacting with other friends, obviously I got to listen to pop music, I got to listen to pretty much all modern forms of music. So I do have a wide variety of things that I like, but I just get most happy and most excited about urban music.
Yeah, I can understand that. And then you went on to do a radio show for 3 years, you were saying then.
Well, actually, I did radio for about 12 years.
12 years.
And the radio show was exactly what I was doing with the live. Yes, it was 12 years. And the radio shows the different radio shows that I did always had the same theme. making sure that people, you know, were able to show their best versions of themselves. So the same thing I was doing with my live events, I would do with radio. So I would have a lot of up and coming artists come and perform and interview and, you know, play a lot of new music. You know, I would try to make sure that whoever I found on the live events, I would invite to the radio shows and give them more exposure and follow up with them and, you know, try to push them to get their careers to the next level. So I actually use my radio shows as, you know, the same thing I was doing with the live events, I was doing with the radio shows. It just had a way bigger audience.
That's
and
it.
My last radio adventure gave me an opportunity to interview some of the greatest in urban music, you know, from Mariah Carey to Pharrell to
Wow.
Chris Brown to everybody. And it just felt good to interview those people, because I knew that by interviewing them, there would be a lot more people listening to the radio show. And then when I would put the up and coming artists there, there would be this whole big, you know,
it creates a bigger platform. That's it.
Yeah, drawn to the radio show. So, you know, I was very fortunate. It wasn't my dream to do radio. It was just one of those things where I knew it would help deliver what I wanted, you know, what I wanted the opportunity to be for these up and coming talents. And so that's why I did it. But at one point I felt kind of bad, because I had some of the most popular radio shows on Dutch radio, but it wasn't my dream. But there was people there, like colleagues and stuff like that, that's what they wanted to do. That's what they always dreamt about doing. And so then I was like, you know, it's important for the talent. A lot of them started showcasing talent as well, because it worked very well. And then I was like, yo, you know what? There's enough places for talent to be showcased on radio now. Let me go do something else, because it's not, you know, that wasn't my ambition. It just happened that way. And so I kind of pulled back from radio and, you know, had all my radio connections. So I was still able to showcase the up and coming talent on radio and grew the live events. But also, I think I also always did artist management, because that's another way of helping people, you know, to showcase their talent and to grow and to, you know, enlarge their careers and stuff like that. And so always when I would do radio or the live events, normally I would manage one or two creatives to make it to the next level, because it's all part of the, you know, showcasing talent to the best of its ability.
Of course. And so was it after radio that you then established Epitome Entertainment, or was that sort of...
No, Epitome was started 22 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
So right from the beginning, it was called Epitome Entertainment. So Epitome has always been there. And that's also the organization that we organize New Skool Rules with.
Yes.
And I think, you know, New Skool Rules came about because of all these different projects leading to people and their growth. We started to noticing that, you know, a lot of these talented people stay talented, and you want them to go from talent to semi-professional to professional, and then to just be super successful. And in the Netherlands, there was too many people that got stuck being an amazing singer. You know what I mean? But are you professional? No. But you're an amazing singer. And we're like, there's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this development chain, that, you know, you are this talented and you're still not a professional. You still can live off of it. And so we started talking to all these talents, and, you know, the common denominator was that they had a lack of network. So they didn't have, you know, enough people that could help them develop their careers even further. And they had a lack of business knowledge. So they would run into people that would say, oh, I'm going to blow you up and give you this worldwide career. And they would sign contracts. And then the contracts would be, you know, they would be so horrible that they got stuck for 5, 6, 7 years. And then by that time, your career is pretty much over. So the lack of business knowledge and the lack of network made me decide to put together New Skool Rules. So for us, bringing our network to the Netherlands, or, you know, percentage of our network to the Netherlands for other people to network directly with them, seemed like, you know, the logical thing to do. Yeah,
absolutely. Kind of brings everything, the bigger picture together, doesn't it? So Do you think that, you know, you were saying you were meeting these people and they didn't have the business knowledge, and they were just remaining as amazing singers rather than becoming professional singers as well? Do you think a part of that was sort of what you were saying about the way that urban music was viewed at the time as well, and that kind of the lack of
Yeah.
credibility that was being given to it, and so those opportunities just weren't there for those genres?
Yeah, so the interesting part about urban music is that there's a lot of people self-taught, right? They
Mm,
don't go to conservatories to get a degree in, urban music and then
no.
become a professional. So that makes it, the do-it-yourself mentality is really good. I think that's why it became so successful. But at the same time, the talent development trajectory looks different, right?
Yeah.
Because the regular music trajectory is going to an arts and culture school or like a conservatory and then get your degree, and then you're now a professional, whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Exactly.
So yes and no. I think the normal, the let's say the traditional music, let's say classical music, because it's recognized as an art form, and it's been recognized as an art form, they have all these different talent development opportunities, right? So they have the actual conservatories, they have the orchestras, where they start with the kids orchestra, the like
Yeah.
young adults, like the student orchestra, and so there's all these things that are in place that are subsidized,
Mm, mm,
that you can utilize to grow.
yeah.
So for urban music, there's only one organization that's nationally funded right now, and that's us,
Mm,
to develop people from being a talent to becoming a professional. But it's only two of us,
yeah.
so it's two full-timers. But we also put together new Skool Rules, and we also do all these other things. And there's so many people creating urban music, whether it's the producers, the songwriters, the artists, or whatever. So I think the lack of recognition,
Mm,
but also the do-it-yourself mentality and the fact that people are self-teaching themselves, all contributes to it not having a steady development trajectory.
yeah, there's not I think something I've noticed about urban music in Wales is there isn't that blueprint, whereas other
Exactly.
genres have got it. And without that blueprint, you know, people often don't know where to go next, what to
No,
do.
and the problem right now is also is that because of the internet, it's not a problem, but it's a challenge. Because what happens is there's artists blowing up. They're doing 10 million on Spotify, but they have never performed live,
Yeah,
for instance, which
a
is
lot of heads
insane
and
if you
that.
think about it. You know what I mean? But that's the reality of now. The music is the genre is so popular that if they like the song, they like the song. They don't
Exactly.
they don't care have you never performed, or have they heard your name before, or haven't they? And so what happens is there is artists that can craft a dope song, but
Mm,
there's no team, there's no live performance, there's no professionalism, there's just a great song.
yeah, I've
And
seen.
now you can't tell them anything, because now they have a 10 million, song that did 10 million on Spotify. So if you come in and you're like, how about your live performance? Like, I don't care about my live performance.
Yeah,
I just made, 7, 8, 9,000 euros on this song. I am a professional. Like, I do
mm,
this.
mm,
Okay, but how about, the next song? I don't have a next
yeah,
song. I said that song. So it's like the traditional way of developing a career, a
mm,
long-term career, now sometimes just goes out of the window, because the reality of the popularity of a song catches up with the actual, skill set or team or strategy, or what you normally do to create somebody's career.
mm,
And that is also a challenge in the urban music community, because you can blow up overnight more so than any other genre,
yeah,
and have
absolutely.
nothing else in place.
Mm, mm,
No manager, no tour manager, no gigs lined up, never perform live, can perform live because you actually cannot sing, but the
yeah,
auto tune, made the
exactly.
song work, and now everybody loves the song, but you're not going to be able to perform it live because you can't sing.
That's it, exactly. I think it creates quite a precarious sort of, it's quite a precarious stage, isn't it? And then there's just so many gaps in knowledge. Again, to compare it to Wales here, you know, you see a lot of people there spending money on the production, you know, spending money in the studio, spending money on the videos, but then they don't realize that they also need to maybe spend money on the PR, the business side, things like that. So
Yeah.
just churning out these brilliant songs, brilliant videos, amazing, but it just sort of hits a certain point and then it doesn't translate beyond that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it makes sense, because if you think about it, if you you know, any other craft, if you only do one element of the craft, you will never be able to make it a career. And it's the same thing with urban music. So you just do one element, the song, but everything around it doesn't make any sense. So that will work for that one song, you know, and might work for another song, but you know, long term, there is a combination of things that need to be, you know, in line or on point to be able to build an actual, you know, life off of it. And I think that's where, and then what happens is, once they have that popular song, like I said, if you are a professional manager or you are trying to help them develop the rest of it, it's almost impossible, because it's like, yeah, what are you saying? I'm good. Like, I just did this by myself. So why would I change anything? Yeah, it's interesting conversations that you're like, why are you not getting that this is just, you know, a luck thing? Or, you know, sometimes they have 10 million views on Spotify, but they have only 100 followers. And the reason they have 10 million views is because the curator just decided that he liked the song and put it in every playlist, you know, possible. And so people don't know who you are as an artist. They actually really don't care. They might not even like the song, but because it's sitting on a playlist, it gets played because they just listen through the whole playlist. And so accidentally they hear your song too.
It just kind of, it leaves them without a longer term plan. They can't think beyond the present moment, I guess. It's very much,
which I understand.
In the present moment without thinking ahead, sort of thing, and future planning and
but so, I understand it, because obviously if you didn't think that this was going to be something that you would make money off of, and all of a sudden you're seeing money coming in, you know, more than you're making, you know, with your part-time, you know, student job or whatever, for the whole year, and you're making that in like a month, then you're like, I'm in, like, this is it. I can do this. I get it, but it takes away from the actual talent development. It takes away from the actual building a steady career. And it also makes you fall and drop on your face real quickly. Because once that song is done and you have no followers, it didn't attract any, it didn't do anything for you, then the fast cash. You realize, oh, and you don't know how you did it the first time, so you can't repeat it the second time.
Exactly.
Then it's like, that's a cute little bag. Yeah, but it doesn't help you in the longer term.
Exactly. And I think that's the importance for things like Epitome and New School, and, you know, to have these schemes in place that specifically work with these genres, because I do think that from, you know, looking at other genres, that the issues that we kind of discover working in these particular music genres, they're quite specific to these artists, to these genres. And I mean, you know, like you say, there's, you know, you can become a rapper from just writing in your room, and you don't need to go to school to learn that, and you can start producing in your bedroom. And I think it's because of how easy it is, how accessible these art forms are, and that they're for everybody, if you know what I mean. And you can just start doing it from home, and then people just sort of just tend to go with it then themselves, without thinking, actually, you know, I might need to bring somebody else in who has an expertise in this area and this area. So I do really think talent development schemes in this particular area are just really important to kind of to just educate them on how to, you know, lengthen their careers and everything like that. So when it comes to the artists that you work with, Epitome, what are you looking for in the artists that you choose to work with?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. They need to want to work harder than me, because it's their career. So if I'm talking from a management perspective, I need to, the talent is super important. It starts with the talent, but it doesn't end with the talent, because if talent doesn't work hard, untalented people catch up and even overtake the talent. So hard work, dedication, drive, motivation, all of those are as important and sometimes more important than whether or not somebody is talented. Super important. Understanding the codes of the music industry, and loyalty. Loyalty is very important too. If I start working with somebody and I can tell that I'm bringing them to a situation with, you know, Grammy Award winning producer or somebody else, and they're trying to get, you know, the connection for themselves, for instance, I already know that that's not somebody I can work with. Because, you know, sometimes they go like, this is my phone number. Can I get your email address? Can I get your phone number? And I send them in saying, yo, I got this. I know these people. Just go there and create. And you're trying to hustle your way into getting their, you know, personal phone numbers and stuff like that. It doesn't work. Yeah. I need to be able to trust you, and you need to be able to trust me when I say, you know, so trust is a very big thing, because I like to work with people for years, long term, and the other thing is I need to want to be around you. If I don't like you as a person, then it's not gonna work, because I'm gonna have to spend I'm gonna have to spend so much time with you on the phone, traveling with you, you know, sometimes arguing with you. I need to like you. If I don't like you, it's not working. I tried a couple of times where the talent was so overwhelmingly there. And I was like, I have to just suck it up a little bit because they're so talented. And then I'm like, after like 3 months, I'm like, oh, hell no. I like positive vibes. I like, you know, and if you can't do that, then I'm good. Like I got to a point in my career where, there's really, you know, I have ambitions as a manager. I want to be, you know, winning Grammys with my team and stuff like that. But my life is really amazing as it is. And so there's nobody worth taking the risk of the positive vibes I have in my life right now. And so talent doesn't determine any longer whether or not, I accept negativity in my life. If a talent is
talent and a little bit of professionalism, like, and then
oh my gosh,
you can
professionalism
work
is
with
everything.
that then. Do you think that professionalism is something that they can learn through working with a talent development scheme?
Yes, for sure. I think it's professionalism also goes with experience. So I think people sometimes need to go through certain situations to understand the difference between professionalism and emotionalism. And so obviously creatives, the better the creatives get, the more emotional they are normally. And also I always say they are wired a little differently. And so the better they are, the more differently they're wired. So some of us say, well, you know, the more crazy they get, because for some reason it just goes hand in hand. So you're gonna always experience, the more talented the people are, you're always gonna experience weird, you know, quirks in personality. That's fine, as long as it stays respectful and professional, you know what I mean? And so I can work with it. The weirdness, everybody's weird. I'm a little weird because I'm a creative in a sense, you know what I mean? So I like weird, but I can't do, you know, sneaky. I can't do disrespectful. I can't do, and especially being a female working with, you know, females, but also with a lot of males. And I'm this tiny black chick. I have to make sure that I get that respect. Just because, you know, in general, it's a very, like you said, it's a very male dominant industry. So I can't have people, you know, clients talking crazy to me or none of that. So
you have to set a precedent, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You really do. And so I always say to Greg, which is my partner, but he's also my husband, so we've been doing this for 22 years. I always say to him, you know, it's so tiring sometimes that you know, that I gotta be this bitch sometimes, because if not, then they think they can just walk over you. So sometimes you got to bring out the bitch in yourself, and be like, oh, hell to the no, this is not happening, da 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 da. And then you can go back being your sweet little self, because at that point they're not gonna try that again with you.
It is. But I see what you're saying. It's horrible that you have to kind of bring out that side of yourself just to kind of command that respect in such a male dominated kind of industry.
Right.
I was going to ask more about that actually, about your experience as a female, as a woman working, and as a Black woman as well, working in the urban industry and in the music industry. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Of course. So the most important things that I think I learned within the last 22 years is, first of all, don't be surprised if you get hit on, because you will get hit on continuously. If that's something that you can't deal with, this is not the industry for you. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But I also feel like, if you look halfway decent, even walking down the street, you get hit on. So that's something I think women are used to anyway. What I try to do with it is that, when guys would approach me, because I have to say 98% of the contacts and people the males that I work with till this day, I met because they were trying to hit on me. Right. And that not because I'm, the best looking person in the world, just because I'm a female. It's really not that serious.
Do you think women that want to be artists getting involved with talent development schemes, do you think that's sort of like almost like a safer avenue for them to kind of develop themselves professionally?
I mean, I think it's a combination. You got to be out in the real music industry and do talent development at the same time. I feel like you need to work on your personality and your self-confidence before you get into the music industry, because this is one of the best industries to lose your self-confidence. So if you're already insecure, you're going to be shot. You know what I'm saying? So
how do you think women can build their self-confidence to prepare themselves for the industry? Like, how do you think they can...
I always say the same thing, and I have 2 little girls that I'm raising. So one is 10, one is 3. It starts with you. It starts with you loving you. It starts with you accepting who you are and being proud of who you are, with all your flaws and all your, imperfections, still loving the hell out of yourself. My husband always says, yo, you love yourself. I love myself. Okay. My kids love themselves. Like my oldest, the first 4 things she said is, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm sweet, and I'm tough. And then that's the first 4 sentences I taught them. You can't tell her nothing. The 3-year-old, you can't tell her nothing either. She's like, I'll go, Janae is, and she's like, beautiful, smart, tough, sweet, and she just repeats what she learned, and she also believes it. So it starts with you. It starts with being accepting of yourself in whatever form, shape you come, because once you lose that, entering the music industry, and everybody has an opinion, but I think what's very important in this part is that you're not supposed to care about how people feel, whether it's positive or negative, right? So people can give me compliments all day, it doesn't touch me, because when they're insulting me, it doesn't touch me. So neither one touches me, because I am not having outsiders influence the way I feel about myself, whether it's in the positive light or in a negative light. And as long as you can really administer that to your life, you're good. Because you're not going to have other people interfering with your image of yourself, and you have to live with you. So if you're the one influencing how you feel about you, you're going to always be good.
That sounds like really sound advice from a woman who's been in the industry for over 20 years. Do you know what I mean?
It works. It works. It doesn't affect me. Oh, you don't like me? Okay.
Exactly.
How is it affecting me today? Like, how is that, having my kids love me less? Or how is that, making me do my job less? I know I treated you well. You don't like me, that's okay. You know what I mean? If you love me, that's okay too. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't move me. It doesn't make me feel better about myself, because I know I treat everybody with respect. You know what I mean? Thank you, but I don't feel any better about myself.
Brilliant. I think that's really great advice. I'm going to come back round to talking about New School Rules now. Touched on that a little bit. So we've briefly sort of discussed it earlier, but for everybody that's listening, do you want to just give like a brief overview of what it is, kind of how big it is and how it's grown?
Right. So New School Rules started in 2009. The first 5 editions was every other year. So 2009, 11, 13, 15, and then 17. And then in 17, we started doing 2017, 18, 19, and we're supposed to do 20, but everybody knows 20 is just the way it is here. We're at a point now where we started it with in the back of our minds, like I said. We have to create a platform where people can get the business knowledge, get the network, showcase themselves and their skills to industry professionals and leaders from all over the world, from the urban music industry. And that's what it's been. So it grew from about 90 live performances to 170 this 2019 edition. We've had, we normally have about 75 speakers from across the globe. We have people attending from 26 different countries. We have almost every year, we have pretty much all the major labels, from Motown to Universal to Sony to Def Jam to
That's amazing.
Whatever, Atlantic, Republic, all the major labels. We have the major publishers present. There's been a bunch of people discovered at New School Rules, like Nico and Vince. Rock City, that later on had that hit record with Adam Levine, Locked Away, has been at New School Rules before they went anywhere else in the world. So we had Nicole Buzz, who was found at the New School Rules audition, that went on to get a record deal with Rock Nation through the producer we had hooked her up with, and had a #1 record in the US.
Amazing.
But the conference is 3 days of, I always say, sharing and gaining knowledge, networking, doing business, and having fun at the same time. So we offer workshops, master classes, panels, auditions, jam sessions, a lot of interactive things for creatives, more so than a lot of the other conferences, because we are very creative centered. So there are professionals, there's a bunch of professionals, but we're not doing it for the professionals. The professionals are coming because they know they can find the next monster star at New School Rules when it comes to urban music. They're not coming to be just a professional and, you know, all bougie and this is what I did. And no, the ones that I pick is the ones that are really trying to find the next thing. That are open to share their knowledge, that are there to network. I don't pay them to come. I fly them out, you know, economy class, while they normally travel business or jet or whatever. And they want to come. So I make sure that I pick the ones that are open and that want to be there. So they go to the panels, they go to the masterclasses, they go to the performances, because that's what they're there for.
Of course, yeah. That's brilliant. And how big is it? Like, what is
so over the 3 days, we get about 1,250 delegates. And we have the festival draws. The last time I think the festival drew a little over 10,000 people over the 3 days. But we do some stuff in advance. And so we do like writing camps and master classes with schools around the area. So if you combine all of that, then we have about 1,700 people being part of it.
Are those writing camps and those kinds of those talent development sort of little projects within it, are they open to artists globally then, or just artists based in the Netherlands?
So the writing camps is normally with sponsors and stuff like that, but also with school people attending conservatories and schools in the Netherlands. So it's a lot of students.
That's brilliant.
And people that we pick. So if there's people that are listening to this and are interested in participating, they could always hit us up and be like, yo, I really want to participate. This and this is what I did. And then we can see if it makes sense. Because we're also doing, you know, writing camps with the Grammy Award winning producers, with a bunch of bigger labels and stuff like that over here. And then, you know, we pick people that we feel like should be in the writing camps as well. So it's a combination.
That's brilliant. It sounds so good, and I'm really hoping that next year I can come and see it for
Yeah, so
myself. That would be brilliant.
yeah, exactly. Next year we already have a date for next year. That's May 28th to May 30th,
Mm,
and it's gonna be fun. It's
that
gonna be
sounds like
big.
so much fun. Um, so the other thing I was going to ask was, for artists that are watching this, that are from Wales, how do you think, for, you know, Welsh urban artists, how can they break into the European market with their music?
Think I always say start collaborating with European artists because
Mm,
it starts with the music. If you have joined music together, then you know, they can push it on the European side, you can push
yeah,
it on the Wales side. You start to get to know people because now you created music together. You
mm,
push their stuff, they push your stuff, and before you know it, you're starting to get a buzz if you know, hook up
exactly.
with the right people. I think that's the number one thing, and obviously the other thing is do showcases in Europe
Mm,
so bookers and festival programmers can see you and can experience you live.
mm,
You know, build a database of people you meet at the conferences or at Focus Wales, and keep informing them, even if you don't, if you're not popping but you're releasing stuff. Keep informing us, you know, send
mm.
us newsletters with what you are doing and what you are creating and what the future plans are and what the strategies are, and just keep updating us with information. That's always a good thing to do.
Definitely. So just keep persevering, basically, and just
Yeah,
keep,
keep persevering.
yeah, yeah. We have to finish this now, but it's been amazing speaking to you, Henca, and good luck with New School next year now in 2021, and with the talent development scheme with Epitome and everything like that.
Thank you.
It's always really amazing to meet another woman that's working in MOBO and urban music. I know we're few and far between the people behind the scenes, but it's amazing to speak to you and to, you know, hear about your career. So yeah, so thank you very much for today, and
Okay.
hopefully I'll get to see you next year at the
Yes, please.
conference.
Yes,
Yay!
Neil, I hope we did a good job. Sorry I gotta go, but I gotta go.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Alrighty.
Henka.
Thanks. Thank you so much for the interview.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.